And hello, everybody. Welcome. Nice to see you here. I'm going to set this up, if I can, right, well, maybe we'll do it right here. Oh, yeah, that's not bad, right? That's not too bad. I don't know if this is going to work. Hold on. Trying to do YouTube at the same time I'm doing Periscope can be a little bit difficult. It's not the easiest thing in the world to do. Let's see how this is looking. Yeah, it's pretty all right. Thanks for being here, everybody. I'm looking at two screens and two cameras at the same time. I'm looking at you on Periscope right here, and I'm looking at you guys and gals on YouTube on the Booker Report website right there. Let's see if that's working. Yeah, that seems to be working. I don't know how that is working, if it's working very well, but it's nice to have you here. Thanks for joining me. Good thing I have two eyes. I can look at two things at the same time. So happy to spend some time with you today. Welcome to the program. My name is Rob. This is the Booker Report Live. It's also just my Periscope channel where we get to chat about fun topics related to trading anytime we want. And I'm so happy to see you. All right, where is everybody from today? I'm going to check the control room on YouTube and see if I can find out where some of you are from. I think I'm supposed to be able to see in the control room if anybody's open live chat in a new window. Oh, geez. Yeah, I don't see any of the chatting in YouTube. I'm not sure that's working. He's going to hack us. San Diego, Spain. Someone says I'm going to hack you. Houston, Texas. Nice to see you, Steve, in Houston. I don't know who called me sexy girl, but that was pretty hilarious. Thank you for being here. And Melbourne Beach, Florida, Wisconsin, Honolulu. Hey, Michael, I'm coming to Maui in March. Jerwin, Wichita, Kansas. Somebody's promoting a stock here, like we're all going to buy your stock. That sounds hilarious. Ecuador, buenos días. A todas las personas que hablan español. I'm very happy to see you here. And thanks for joining us. I have no idea if this is working on thebookerreport.com. So if you don't mind, Nimmer, if you could check thebookerreport.com and tell me if that's working on that website, if the YouTube link is working. And I don't speak Spanish, no hablo español, pero quiero aprender las palabras suficientes para hablar en español cuando I go a Madrid para la presentación in España this summer. Okay, I do real estate. I give you home. These comments are ridiculous. It was Friday. What's going on with everybody? Everybody's lost their minds. Boy, it's the best part of my day, spending some time with you here. Oh good, okay, it's working on the site, fine, thank you. I'm someone says they will teach me Spanish. Okay, send me a text message to 304-281-8332. That sounds good. Well, today I want to talk to you about currency trading and about the Forex market. And this is for Monday's show on the Booker Report podcast and the radio show. I already recorded it, and actually I sent it up to the FTP site so the satellites could feed it to the radio stations on Monday. And the show on Monday is all about how to get started in currency trading and some of the things that I would do if I were starting today. And to be honest, that radio show, although I think it's a pretty good picture of what I believe about these topics, this is going to be a better conversation because I'm not pressed for time and I'm not speaking into this stupid microphone, and we can have a sort of an honest conversation about all this stuff. Now, today's live broadcast is, I'm going to get around all these books, is sponsored by Forest Park FX. Let me read you this promotion. Interested in trading the FX market? Contact Forest Park FX to open a Forex account and get cashback rebates on every trade you place. Go to forestparkfx.com or call 877-557-3739. Ask for Justin. That's forestparkfx.com. Forex trading carries significant risk of loss. Terms and conditions apply. All right, so what would I do if I were going to get started in currency trading all over again from the very beginning? Most of you that are here understand the currency market. The currency market is the world's most liquid and largest market on the planet. $5.3 trillion changes hands every day in the currency market, and that's 10 times bigger than the New York Stock Exchange's volume. It's an absolutely gigantic market that's open 24 hours a day, 5.5 days a week. I love it because I can get out of a trade in the middle of the night. I love it because I can get in a trade in the middle of the night. But honestly, to be completely forthright with you, I don't necessarily love currency trading. In the same way that you might have a job that pays you, but you don't necessarily love it every single day. And I think traders that love trading are not necessarily the traders who are most successful at trading. In fact, I think to some degree, loving trading can lead to problems. Significant problems, in fact. That lead to problems such as overtrading, trading too often, trading too large, trading too frequently, trading right after you close a winning trade, not feeling like you got enough, and opening a brand new trade right after that. Those are all problems that we experience as traders that come from loving the act of trading too much. It's almost a little bit like gambling. Now, I'm going to put myself in this category. I definitely have been here before. I definitely have felt those things. Our friend Stogie says, I trade very large, but I trade infrequently. No, that's somebody who does it for the money. That's someone who's doing it with a specific purpose in mind, who's doing it for the money. Now, if you're watching on Periscope, I love those hearts. I don't know what that means, but I think it means something, so thank you for giving me some hearts. You just press the screen. I think it makes a heart come out. And let's get this out there. You can share it with your friends. You can retweet it. I don't know how you do all that stuff, but you can do it. Let's get this out there. Lazy Boy Trader says, I love getting my rebate check from ForestParkFX.com every month. So it's only about the money, right? Says Stogie. For some people, Stogie, it's not about the money. And I think this is the first thing that I would change about the way that I approach the financial markets. If I were to go back and start it over again, or if I were brand new to the financial markets today, what I would do differently is I would approach trading as a job, as opposed to approaching it as something that I loved so much. That's one thing that I would do. You can go to youtube.com/RobBooker to watch the replay of yesterday's show. It was kind of messed up because that's the first time I ever used YouTube Live. But you can get that there. All right. I think that the thrill of trading was one of the reasons that I got into trading in the first place. And I think that's what led to a lot of problems when I started my trading career. And I think that's one thing that I would do is I would approach it as a job, and I would approach it for the money. And that sounds like, there's all these things out there, all this advice out there that says, do what you love and the money will follow. Well, that's not actually sometimes very true, right? Sometimes that's actually 100,000% false. You do what you love, and there is no money. Do you see some of these weirdos that are here in the thing? All right, let's see here. Can you? So I'm not going to stop it. Let's swipe up, swipe to the side, swipe over here. Oh yeah, okay. There we go. All right. So I blocked the wrong person. There we go. There we go. I kicked that person off. Unfortunately, I kicked the wrong person off. Okay, it's the first time. I'm so sorry. That was one of our favorite people, and I kicked that person off, unfortunately. It's so nice to see you here. It's not because they came late. All right, so I'm going to approach it as a job. Let's go through some really interesting facts about the currency market that I think that are super interesting. President Nixon is the first person that made it possible for us to do currency trading. President Nixon, in 1971 or whatever, ended the worldwide agreement to keep exchange rates within a certain band. Yes, I've heard of mentor tips. That's run by Reza, that guy who is going to get basically thrown in jail pretty soon. It's the guy that puts pictures of himself with Ferraris and Lamborghinis, but used to run a brokerage and that shut down with tons of people's money still in their accounts that they never could get. That guy's in deep shiz And I don't hate that person. I don't hate him at all. I don't think he's a terrible human. He was kidnapped last night. This is so ridiculous. He's not kidnapped last night. Oh, so ridiculous. Oh my gosh. Look at, he was kidnapped last night. Oh my gosh. Yeah, back to Nixon. He ended the worldwide agreement to keep exchange rates within a fixed band. That was called the Bretton Woods Accord, and he ended that. 80% of Forex activity now is controlled by 10 major banks. The number 1 bank is Deutsche Bank, and the number 10 bank is Goldman Sachs. I'm number 4, and Reza is even above Deutsche. I'm just kidding. This is a really great one. Oh, stop it. He didn't get kidnapped. Stop it. Stop it, you jerkhole. I'm deleting you. He didn't get kidnapped. Stop it. Stop it. All you sheep that believe these people that are out there telling you they made $25 million. Stop it. Stop being a sheep. Stop watching these people and not asking for verification. Stop being a sheep. That is ridiculous. It's the stupidest thing I ever heard in my life. It's friggin' ridiculous. I'm trying to keep my language clean, but it's stupid. Because this person goes out there and tells people he was kidnapped, tells people he made $25 million, and provides zero verification of that. Zero verification. You want to show me a bank account? Show me a bank account. Show it to me. But don't go out there telling people you made $25 million. Don't go out there and say that. That's ridiculous. It's stupid, and it gets people who don't have a lot of money to follow you, and then they don't know what they're doing, and then they fall into a trap, and then you don't feel responsible later. And also, if you shut down a brokerage and people still have their money trapped inside of it, you have an obligation to give that money back. So stop telling me it was kidnapped. That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's the stupidest thing I ever heard in my life. I hate that stuff. I hate it when somebody goes out there and shows that they say, I made $25 million. Shut up. Nobody gives a shiz what you made. Nobody cares about that. If you're going to say that you made it, then you better damn well show. And it better not be some kind of, I covered up the whatever. All right, we're getting back on topic. Researcher and all-around buzzkiller John Foreman, who has a PhD, discovered that only 0.4% of retail currency traders are able to achieve, this is crazy, more than 4 profitable back-to-back quarters of trading. So basically, and essentially, it's the same thing we've always known. Traders trade too big, they trade too frequently, they trade systems they don't know, they follow someone else like a sheep, all that stuff. And so you get these researchers out there that will say things like, currency traders are no currency traders were able to string 4 profitable quarters in a row. Well, nobody cares if you're able to string 4 profitable quarters in a row. Since when was that the metric? I mean, nobody's goal ought to be to never have a losing quarter. There's this one jackhole who wrote a book called How to Never Take Another Losing Currency Trade. What would be the purpose of that? What would be the purpose of that? Tell me why you would follow someone who would say it's such a ridiculous thing. That's the stupidest thing ever. We all know it's impossible, and that's the most ridiculous thing ever. But yet we hear these statistics. Only 1% of currency traders are profitable, and 95% of currency traders fail. And the reality is that 100% of currency traders that run out of money fail. 100%. It's the only way you can get an accurate statistic. And the only way to not put yourself in that category is to never take a trade. Okay, fine. You want to be a part of it? Don't take a trade. The only way to maybe get yourself into a class of people who have a chance at making it is to not read all this other crap, not follow someone else blindly. That includes me. Not believe somebody if they tell you they turned $100,000 or $10,000 into $25 million. Stop it with all that. Nobody cares about that. The way that I would do it if I started over again is I would be intensely focused on maintaining my trading capital. And that doesn't sound sexy. It doesn't sound interesting. But it's the absolute truth. There's only one way to guarantee that you're a failure as a trader. Is to listen to all the noise, follow other people, and get your eye off the ball, which is protecting your account. I'll tell traders all the time, you can become a pro currency trader. Here's how you do it. You reduce your trade size, and you stop trying to make $1 billion in a short period of time. You stop listening to other people who will tell you what to do, and you start focusing on your own methodology. And you can use pieces from other people. I've taught methods of trading for 16 years to people, and at least 10 of those people have gone on to be successful educators, or they've gone on to be market strategists at major brokers. James Chen is one. Sean Campbell is another. And they piece together methods that I teach them, and then they go out in the world and they teach them to other people because they made it their own. Making it your own is the only true way to ever be long-term sustainable in this business, is to block out the noise. And that's exactly what I would do. I would start blocking out the noise a lot sooner. If I were to restart my trading career today, I would, like I said first, I would absolutely put the focus on reducing my trade size and losing less money. All right, here's a bunch of beginner stuff that goes on the radio on Monday that we can skip. There's no central clearinghouse or exchange for Forex. You all know that. Forex trading doesn't happen in shares. You know about leverage. Forex traders are largely technical at home. Some are fundamental, which is perfectly fine. There's no holy grail system. Banks, however, are largely order flow based. There's a lot of idiots out there and morons that will sell you a trading system that will teach you how the banks trade. That's all just a complete lie. That's the stupidest thing I ever heard. Bank Forex trading isn't anything like trading currency from home. Bank Forex trading is picking up the phone, and then it's like, bring, hello, and they say, I'd like to buy 100 million euros. And they're like, okay, we'll get you 100 million euros. And then they quote you a price, they sell you the euros, and then I, working at the bank, I'm holding the other side of that trade. I didn't make a trade. I didn't bet the euro was going anywhere. I took a trade and put it on the books. Now I'm going to quote you a price that reflects my sentiment about which direction the euro is going to go. But I have to sit on that position. I have to offload it to somebody else in order to get out of the position. And a lot of bank trading is done electronically. Some of the bank trading is done on the phone. But there's one characteristic about bank trading that is the third thing that I would mimic or do differently the next time. They inventory their trades. This was made famous by Sean Campbell in his book, Inventory Trading. And that's a book about the fact that you can think of your trading account like a bank, and you can inventory and warehouse your trades. So you take a trade into your trading account and you treat it like a project, and you treat it like an item of inventory on the shelf. It's simply put, it's the best book written about trading in the last 2 years, easily. Best 5 years, easily. It's called Inventory Trading by Sean Campbell. He's not an expert in writing books. It's a self-published book, and it's amazing from a person who really makes a living doing this. And trading like a bank isn't about levels and supply and demand levels or bank levels. All that stuff is BS. I'm sorry, it's BS. It's total BS. What a bank does is they warehouse positions, and they have to inventory those positions and then offload them using salespeople. Salespeople call customers and offload the positions. You and I can't trade like that. We're not doing that. But the one thing we can do is we can treat our trades like a project. Now, members here, you can give me an amen on this. Treating a trade like a project means you bring it into your trading account and you tend to it like a plant that you're growing in your garden. You water it, you nurture it, you take care of it, you watch over it, you wait for the market to come back around, and you work with it instead of saying, this is a horse race. I take a trade and then it runs around the track and I'm either a winner or a loser. I'm going to cancel your service if it's not a winner. Successful traders, and this is the third thing I would do differently, is I would treat my trades like a project and like an inventory. And instead of thinking, oh, I'm going to buy the euro today, was it a winner? Well, I'm going to make it a winner. If you work at a bank, they don't walk into at your bank desk and say, did you make a winner today? It's ridiculous. They don't talk like that. That's ridiculous. They don't trade like that. Only gamblers like us trade like that. Did I have a winner? Okay, what's the next deal? What's the stop loss so I don't get stopped out? And what's the profit target so I definitely get a winner? That's gambling. That's just gambling. And it's unhelpful, and it just doesn't do anybody any good. So I would start, and like I do now, I would treat my trades like a project. I would bring them into my account, and let's say I bought, I could show it on YouTube, but I'll figure out how to show the screen on YouTube on Monday. But right now, I'll pull up the screen. Okay, so I'm long pound dollar and I'm long Australian dollar, Canadian dollar right now. And I'm also, in a separate account, I'm long pound Aussie, and it finally went profitable, so I'm going to close that because it finally came back. Okay, so I closed that just now. Oh, I can't. The market's closed. It doesn't matter. Who cares? Because it's inventoried. I don't care if it's automatically profitable right now. I don't care. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to look at it. I'm not going to have my face duct taped to the screen looking at my trading positions. I would stop that addiction to the market. And I would start treating my trade like, pick a small trade. If it goes against me, work it out. Work my way out of trouble. Let it go against me for a while. Inventory it. Tend to it. Don't add to it immediately. Don't panic if it goes against me. I think a professional trader is someone who doesn't intend that their first time that they enter a position that it's profitable. I think that's the definition of a profitable professional trader. Someone who isn't expecting a positive result immediately from their trades as soon as they take it. And the definition of an amateur or a gambler is someone who thinks that trading somehow is the purchasing of a system or the learning of a system where you enter, it goes well, and you have an automatic stop and there's a percentage and a risk, and you can basically just blindly trade that system forever, and all you have to do is just sit around and wait for the dollar bills to come in. Our friend iDoc Ninja says, I use the 4-hour charts and they help me stay patient. That's another way of saying the same thing. Another good question here from Inciso Santiago is, can a retail trader be hired by a bank? Yes, one of my former students, Steve, was once hired by Lehman Brothers after going through, he was hired by Lehman Brothers. That doesn't happen very often, however. That's a very rare skill. A lot of traders, you don't realize this, they don't go to a bank and press a button using charts. You have to understand that. That's a trader at a hedge fund or a proprietary trader, and there are very few of those. A trader at a bank is generally a salesperson, and you have inventory, and you've got to sell, you buy inventory here and you sell it over there, just like a person who buys a car at an auction, fixes it up and sells it, or one of those fixer-upper house television programs where they buy a shizzy house, and then they fix up that house, and then they sell that house to someone else. It's just like that. That's more like what this is like, a trader in a bank. There are proprietary traders in banks that risk the bank's capital in taking trades in directions, but those positions are very far and few between. They do not exist in the way that most of us think or wish that they did. And there's some of that going on in hedge funds as well, of course, but there's not a lot of currency trading hedge funds. In fact, there used to be one, it was called, I can't remember what it's called. And it was run by, I can't remember his name. But he blew it up. They were running $8 billion. I'll think of the name, but that blew up. All right, the fourth thing that I would do is I would run a very simple trading system. On Monday, I actually attempted to teach this trading system on the radio show, and then I decided that didn't work. That was really difficult to do, so I provide a URL on Monday for a website that I just put together for learning a very simple system. And I would learn that system. Let's just say I would use Bollinger Bands, and I would use RSI. And I would buy if price dropped below the Bollinger Bands and went oversold on the RSI. And I would then tweak that system and refine it according to my own needs and my own experience, and I would make it my own. And I would basically decide if I'm going to stop out quickly or hold on to my trade, which is number 5 or 6. The fifth or sixth thing that I would do differently is I would stop switching around on everything. And I would make a decision. I'm either going to stop out immediately on my position when it goes wrong, or I'm going to hold on to it and work my way out of it. This is a critical decision that most traders, and I certainly didn't think about. What I would do when I first started was I traded pretty big relative to the size of my account, and then I held on to losing trades. So then I thought, after that, oh no, stopping out quickly is the way to go. And then I went through years of stopping out quickly and getting super frustrated if I went through a losing streak. And what I realized was, wait a minute, there's a way to stop the madness, reduce my trade size, and go back to what I intuitively thought was right at the beginning, which was holding on and working my way out of trades. So I reduced my trade size significantly, so it could go 1,000 pips against me in the Forex market, and it wouldn't hurt me. And then I would work my way out of a position. We call this now rollover trading. We call it Finch, F-I-N-C. That's a robot that we have that does that automatically. And now there's hundreds of traders, even as many as 1,000 traders implementing this method with small trade size and experiencing success in our family of traders around the world because they're doing this very thing. And it takes what you originally want to do, which is work your way out of a position if it goes against you, and it makes it something that you can actually do. That's actually a practical strategy for you to use. So I would learn that system, and then I would decide, am I going to stop out really quickly? Now the alternative is to trade a larger trade size and stop out very quickly if the trade goes against you. And most people do not have the self-discipline to close those losing trades. And so that strategy is really bad. I have friends, Paul in Minnesota, Superman, Tim in Florida, Tim Sykes, who are ultra disciplined with closing their losing trades. And so they don't have a problem doing this. And they make a lot of money because they have a large trade size, a very tight stop, and then they try to ride their winners as long as possible. I can't do it. I can't do it. You give me a large position size, and I'll hold on to a loser. So what I do now is I'll just take a small position, and I'll work my way out of it, and if it becomes a loss of 2 or 3%, I'll just close it out. But I'll give it that long to work my way out. Ruben says I do that with news. Brilliant. It's totally brilliant. I love that. Someone asked, do I use robots? Yeah, definitely use robots. I have 2 accounts in front of me right now. One account has $14,040 in it. That's grown from 10 last year. And that's fully no, that's not the fully, that's discretionary. And I'm pushing the buttons on that and making the decisions about those trades. And then in the second account, this is live account 4370480, and I think I've got a MyFX book on this. That's just running the robot. And the loss is 2 to 3% of capital. And that's just running the robot 100%. And I'll intervene if something I feel needs to be intervened upon, but largely it's 99% automated. I also trade equities. I put the bulk of my money, I have 140,000 in my equities accounts right now because I'm just experiencing some significant success trading equities right now in a similar fashion. I get into a trade, it goes wrong, I work my way out of the position, I wait for it to go up. But I've, like I said, there's no secrets here. I'm not a genius, I don't have the Holy Grail, I didn't turn $1,000 into $25 million. I could turn $1,000 into $10, just like anybody else. I could turn $1,000 into $1,300 by the end of the year. Do you have any tips for starting with a small account? Okay, this is a really great question. So if I were starting with a small account again, I would trade small trade size. I would use a rollover method to work my way out of positions. And I would do it no differently. And I would give myself 5 to 7 years for things to work out. Or here's what I would do. If I were trading a small account and I had $1,000, and I was okay losing that $1,000 because it would probably happen, I'd probably have a 80% chance of failure. This is what I would do. I would wait till news comes out. I would trade the majors that are super liquid, and I would buy or sell right before the news came out, depending on my personal belief in my system. And I would put a really tight stop loss on it, and I would put a really big position on, and I would close it really soon after that news came out and hope that I made some money. And I would close it out, and I would continue to repeat that over and over again. And I would only trade 1 or 2 times a week on the biggest news events. Absolutely, I would be, but I would probably have an 80% chance of failure, unless you're some kind of like hero genius. Somebody asked me a question just a moment ago that was super brilliant, and I'm sorry I missed it. So if you asked it, it's super risky to do that. If you asked a question and I didn't answer it, let me know. If I had $80,000, how much would I put in my brokerage account? Well, I mean, if it's equities, you could put 100% of it in your equities account. Those are heavily regulated trading accounts. If it was Forex, I might put only what I needed to cover my margin, and then the rest off to the side that I could add to the account if I needed it. And those are the things that I would do. Someone said, how do you roll over a position? Is that dollar cost averaging? And the answer is no. What I will be willing to do is if a position goes against me, I will add to it one time if the position sets up all over again, way far against me. And then I will add to a winning trade as much as I want. But no dollar cost averaging. That doesn't work either. That's a really great way to get into a really giant position and vomit all over yourself in the middle of the night. We've all been there. We've all done it. I don't like hedging. I don't like dollar cost averaging, but I'm not afraid to dollar cost average a little bit. One trade, and then it goes really far against me and sets up again, another trade, and whatnot. Do I still trade the Mexican peso? Oh yeah, I love the Mexican peso. Yeah, Mexican peso is just lovely. I love the US dollar Mexican peso. I like it longer term. It's my preferred method of trading the US dollar Mexican peso. It's just it's better traded from the longer term charts for me because I just don't like day trading. It's not my thing. It's nothing wrong with day trading. El grande peso. All right, what a pleasure to be with you today. Thanks for joining me. We've been going for about 30 minutes, so I'm going to stop the stream now. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Share it with your friends. This replay will be available on Periscope for 24 hours, and you can share that as soon as it comes through my Rob Booker Twitter account. Would love for you to do that. I really appreciate it if you do that. And I'll leave the archived video on the home page, on the YouTube video, on the home page of thebookerreport.com for all weekend long. So you can share thebookerreport.com with your friends on Twitter or whatever, and that video will be playing. This video that we just did will be playing. So if you joined us on YouTube, thank you so much for being here. If you joined us on Periscope, thank you so much. Sorry that I yelled so much. I'm sorry I got mad at that guy. I'm sure he's a reasonable individual. I hate speaking bad about people, but I don't like these claims of making $25 million. I don't like that stuff. It reeks of dishonesty, and I don't like that. It angers me, and it gives us all a bad name in this business. And so if he really did it, fine, congratulations, and that's fine. He could fly out and see me, and he could show me his trading account and his bank accounts, and I'll stop saying that. Or I'll fly to his house and see the same thing. That would be fine. $24,999,999. All right, everybody. When am I coming to Miami? Not soon enough. Man, I miss Miami. I miss Miami a lot. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Bye for now. And I'll stop this thing on YouTube. This was a lot of fun. Thanks, everybody.